How can an independent entrepreneur, canapreneur as we call them, or the government or the private sector benefit from harnessing the wealth of talent and academia that the UWI St. Augustine campus would have in the agriculture?
Right, and those are the kinds of things you can do. For example, I've visited Mona. They have a really, but it's small but quite important department or unit looking at cannabis. In fact, it's a Trinidadian, Marshall Emmanuel.
Of course, knowing and everything.
Yeah, who does it? So he grows. So for example, he has different. He even gave me some seeds once. I tried to plant them, but I don't know what happened. I think these new. I understand the cannabis plants up today are not as robust as those of yesteryear. Although I think I'm a gardener. But in any event, so he has been developing newer strains and so more resistant, those kinds of things. And then he will have colleagues who will test to see. I had another very interesting woman on my team who was a scientist, or is a scientist actually, she's not a professor. She was looking at cannabis from the point of view of pregnant mothers, things like that. There's so much work that can be done, So I think the strength of the university is to harness its various types of expertise to be able to guide government. Because I don't think government has the expertise that we have at the University of the West Indies. And together, again, I want to come back to the persons who have knowledge. They may not be at university, but grassroots knowledge, who've been growing, working with the cannabis. I've learned so much from these persons over the years in all over the Caribbean. I'm constantly impressed at the things that they know and their guidance and so on. And one of the things the university can do as well is to work with them. So for instance, a couple of years ago when I became principal, I did have a visit from some of the Rastafarians here who wanted to do a course. And I said, yes, let's do it. We still want to do a course. Right. We can do things like that. You bring the sort of the grassroots knowledge, the trial by error over the years, and we can supplement. So there's a lot that can happen in relation to
Is that a way that we could align the University of the West Indies St. Augustine with the emerging cannabis industry in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, of course.
We can start with the rural farmers, the independent
and we do
farmers.
A lot of work already with rural farmers. For instance, in cocoa, in peppers, we invented Scorpion. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, of course.
Right? The cocoa industry. We work directly with farmers, on various crops, on their soils, things like that. So there are lots of possibilities.
So paint a picture for me. You get your cannabis license, you have your faculty in place. What sort of programs do you envision could actually manifest based on what you were just talking about from the grassroots culture?
Right. Well, I see, starting from the agriculture, it would be things like the best yield, productivity. What can you use cannabis for? As I said to you, cannabis is very versatile. It's not just smoking it or putting it in a cookie. It's how is it how does it benefit other crops, for instance? I learned that in Dominica, by the way. Things like that.
How it impacts the soil,
benefit new strains, things like that. Then we can work with our doctors to ensure that we make new products. The first 2 products ever in cannabis came from University of the West Indies, Mona, of Vincentian, Professor West. He was at Mona at the time, who created Canasol. He has something for the eyes and one for asthma.
Right, I believe he patented that as well. Yeah.
In the 60s, yeah. So this research it's just that it was stymied because it was illegal.
Right.
You see, so once it's not illegal, it opens up the way for more research in medicine and science and everything, agriculture, in entrepreneurship. How can we support you in being a canopy? We have business,
marketing,
schools,
media,
and all of these
assets,
things. A university can. So yes, we will be indispensable, I think, in moving the sector forward.
So we could talk about a cannabis cup at UWI St. Augustine in the future.
The possibilities are
makes perfect sense.
In Barbados, which did not have a cannabis industry, the university is working with a university abroad to do a lot of stuff.
So that's possible as well.
Yeah, it's just that they changed their laws before us and they went ahead and we got stuck. So, Yes, the
So it's possible
possibilities
to
are limitless.
entertain that as well. We will be exporting our knowledge and our research and importing specialists and trainers and teachers and so on.
And Trinidad is known as a growing place.
Correct.
Some countries are growers, some are not. I mean, we're not as big in the growing as St. Vincent and Jamaica, for instance, but we've had quite Rio Claro, these places. They've had quite a good growing sector.
Yeah. How do you think the government of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the CARICOM Regional Commission on Cannabis, how do you think they can contribute towards creating social justice for cannabis in the Caribbean? I know
Well,
it's a big
first of all, they have to remember that it's a big issue.
Yeah, it is an issue.
It is a big issue. We have to stop putting people in prison, first of all. We're still doing it. And demonizing persons for it, destroying the fees. Again, I said it at the beginning, it's because we still in our heads think there's some things, oh my God, this is such a horrible thing. Cannabis, ganja, whatever you want to call it. Whereas it is a substance like many others that has some powerful properties. And that's how we should treat it. Not destroy people's lives for it and destroy entire families. I like the fact that Antigua gave an apology. We're very far away from that. We have to go to the records, ensure that people's records are expunged and so on. Those are the kinds of things we need to do. And I can tell you, there are lots of young people who are very interested in the cannabis industry. They've come to me and told me so. Very excited when they thought we were moving forward. They were ready to start growing and creating business. They were ready to do it, so we can excite a lot of young people, the people we think are falling by the wayside, and young men too. And we know we have a problem with young men in terms of being able to incentivize them. Right. So I think we can do a lot with young people, and if we just play our cards right, so to speak, we can correct some of the historical social injustices, the many
reverse the propaganda,
and all of that. But really, it has been tragic what has happened over the many years. People have really, their lives sometimes literally been destroyed, persecuted. I heard so many sad stories when I was all over the region. It was heartbreaking sometimes.
But don't you think that UWI could also become more self-sustainable and take some of the pressure of funding off of the government by creating generating its own business,
I'm sure that would be one of it. I mean, we have quite a few innovations going now. We've invented a few things that we are commercializing and so. But yes, I mean,
it
it's
sounds like
not
a plus
excluding.
all around.
But UWI is always there, whether you hear about UWI or not. Everything government does, UWI is involved there. They come and ask us. Usually we do it for free, but...
So we just got to get you your cannabis license.
Committee or something.
We just got to get UWI the cannabis license. Yeah,
but
I'm
sure whatever's going to happen in the future, you will be involved. UWI will be involved in some way, form, or fashion. That I can assure you.
Well, Professor Antoine, with you on the front line, I have no doubt that's where we're heading. Thank you so much for your time and your energy. So we're coming back for you, right?
At some point, yes. But there are lots of knowledgeable people around too.
Thank you so much. We are loud in our silence.
Great, thanks.
Then